last one to walk away. You're always acting impulsive. I'm always obsessed with what I meant to say. And when I try to make sense of it all, I get lost in the moment and let the moment slip away. There's something about the words you say. I hear them when you're not around. And there's something about that look in your eyes and your voice's sound. Well, we can leave this town, pretend that that's the problem, and we can live without all we can live without. And then you tell me someday it's alright with me. I'm always the last one to notice.
You are listening to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with a sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Listen in as Brent and Dave invite you to belly up to the bar with them to talk about everything in the world of sports, just like you would do at your favorite watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so belly up to the bar with us, grab a beverage, and let's get into it. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. Episode number 300, a monumental night here at 1420 World Headquarters and the 1420 Sports Bar, whatever you want to talk about. 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. We're part of the Belly Up network of shows. Make sure you check out other shows on Belly Up and Friends on Spotify. Tonight's show is brought to you by SeatGeek and SeatGeek.com. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today. And save yourself $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com for baseball tickets, hockey tickets, whatever you want to fucking go through. I don't really care right now at this moment. But anyways, Dave, show number 300. Did you ever think we'd get this far?
300. I remember in the COVID years that I came over to your house for episode 100. And the original producer, there was 2 cakes, and there was masks, and there was balloons, and I thought that was monumental. And now that we're at 300, I think we're doing okay, and I'm happy for it, and I'm looking forward to 301.
It's kind of a kick in the pills a little bit, Dave. Like 100, the producer, the Deanne there, she made a cake, got balloons, had it all out there. Now she hasn't listened to a show in about 2 years. I don't know what's going on there. It's one of those things. She used to be one of our biggest fans, but she don't put her earballs for 1 second on the 1420 podcast anymore at all. We said something about A-Rod and J-Lo that tuned her out. I can't remember what show it was, but she was like, yeah, you guys, I'm good. I'm good. And I guess I talk in my sleep too, so she hears me enough too. So
well, I thought she thought we were soothsayers too, because we talk about it. Then all of a sudden, Michael K and whatever she's listening to on TSN or on the satellite is just echoing our.
Well, because I tell her what I say, like what we talk about, she doesn't listen. Like fucking. Does Kate? Has your wife listened to 1 second of our show?
The only thing that she has listened on our show are the things I played for her.
That's exactly the same thing.
You got to listen to this because I thought this was kind of fun.
And then they just nod and go, okay, thank you. Yeah.
You know what? And in fairness,
I wouldn't listen to me either. Well, I don't listen.
Wow, but they're not our demographic. No, I listen to people dumber than us all the time.
No, anyways, Dave, the National Hockey League playoffs are rolling through. The Leafs or the Oilers taking a bit of a beating tonight. They're down 5-1 to the Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, I guess, whatever we want to call them. It's a bit of a disaster in Canadian hockey right now. The Leafs lost a game last night that they probably could have had a chance to win if they would have put any effort in at all. But I want to talk more so about the stars of the National Hockey League or of all sports teams, no matter what, Dave. If you're
if you have a couple of guys who are rolling, no matter what sport, basketball, hockey, football, if you get a couple of guys who are going a little bit, you get a couple of starting pitchers who are going. You talk about the 2001 World Series champion Arizona Diamondbacks, where they had Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling rolling for them. If you get two guys that are rolling, you have a good chance to win. And it to a man, you need two or three guys to get going, and every guy and those guys get guys going a little bit. And without those stalwarts of your franchise, you ain't doing anything.
Oh, for sure. And clearly we're talking about the playoffs. You need the horses to be horses. Like the people that you have brought in to be difference makers must be difference makers. Like as you said, like Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling back with Arizona, Roger Clemens with the Yankees. No, sorry, maybe Roger Clemens wasn't that horse, but Kevin Brown and Levon Hernandez with the Marlins back in the day.
Jesus, that's reaching, but you're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, like these are the guys that you're paying the money, and you know what? Florida is paying the Florida Panthers are playing Matt Tkachuk, who I could stand as a Flame, and I can't really stand him right now. But that motherfucker is a horse right now, and he's telling his team that we can do this, and they are punching Toronto in the face, and Toronto Maple Leafs are in a heap of trouble right now.
Like that game last night, I had like they probably should have won game 2 in Toronto, and they had the 65 bad seconds, and that might have actually ended their season with the Leafs there. Like I'm a Leafs hugger a little bit, but that 65 seconds on Thursday night, whatever it was, pretty much end of their season. And then last night you had Matthews and Marner didn't do a damn thing. They didn't show up at all. We'll get into them in half a second. But the teams that win, you look at that Oilers team right now, how they had McDavid and Draisaitl, who are just carrying that team. They were down 1-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights on Saturday night, and then they say, you know what, we're not going down 2-0, because going down 2-0 is hard. The percentages of coming back to win after you're down 2 is tough. And McDavid and Draisaitl say, you know what, let's go win a hockey game, and that's what they did. You go back to all the years. You go back to Taves and Kane. You go to Crosby and Malkin. You go to Lemieux and Jagger. You go to who else is there throughout the history of hockey? That you have a couple of guys. Even last year, you can even say Cale Makar and McKinnon there with Colorado. If you got two guys who are scoring goals and contributing every night, you have a chance to win, because you'll get secondary scoring from some guy, you won't remember his name, and they'll be in the parade. They won't be on the team next year. But you need two guys who are rolling, and the Toronto Maple Leafs don't have that at all. Like they just don't.
They are so sad. Like like the Toronto Maple Leafs 0-3. Like they had a chance to win game 1. They had a chance to win game 2. They had a chance to win game 3.
Went to overtime last night.
Yeah,
with a bad performance.
Oh, just terrible. Like so how bad do you want it? And when I look at that team playing Florida right now, Florida really wants it a lot more than Toronto. Like Toronto played a terrible game yesterday, and they fucking handed it to them in overtime. Handed it to them. 3 icings in a row, and then on that overtime goal, they let fucking Bennett hang out with the puck.
Come in, come out, and then Reinhardt did the wraparound goal, and nobody put a stick on the guy. Nothing.
Like Jesus Christ, where's the want? Where's the need? Where's the drive? So I picked the Leafs and the Oilers to be in the Stanley Cup, but the Leafs as a team does not deserve to be on this. They don't deserve it, because they're a bunch of fucking wannabes that they found lightning in a bottle against the Lightning. Lightning in a ball against the Lightning. And
Well,
and
not
now
not even really, Dave. Because you think about it, they won 3 games in overtime. Like they won, they got smoked in game 1. They won game 2 handily 7-2, whatever it was. But they're fortunate to even be in round 2 because they could have lost 3 games in overtime. They could have lost that series 4 games to 1 very
I
easily. That
I
franchise,
agree.
I don't understand. And you know what? I feel really bad. I mean, not bad, but I feel bad for Leafs fans who put the effort in, year out, and they watch this team and they hope and they have something going on, and then they lose again. And it year in, year out. And I don't know. And if I had the magical formula to figure this all out, I'd probably sell it for $1 billion. But the fans of that team deserve better than the effort they got last night. Like I would actually rather that they lose in 4, be done with it. They don't play till Wednesday again. I would rather the Leafs lose in 4 and not have people have to spend money and go watch that shit again on fucking probably Friday night at Scotiabank. It's not fair to the fan base, the crap that franchise puts out year in, year out. And I don't blame the GM Dubas. I do not blame the coach. This one is on the players 100% this time around. It's because Dubas went, here, you want some Stanley Cup guys who've won cups before. Here's Ryan O'Reilly, and here's Shen. Here you go. These guys have won before. You guys want this? You want a goaltender? Here you go. They've done everything they possibly could, but the superstars, their 2 main guys, didn't get it done, and it's on those two or three guys. You go Matthews, Marner, and mix in Tavares as their captain, and then throw in that entitled little prick Nylander, throw him in there too. It's brutal. It's brutal.
Not being a Leafs fan and thinking that they did get away with one against every bounce went their way, whether it be the calls or the referee things or the goaltending in that first round against the Lightning. I think the Leafs were extremely lucky to get out of that series, especially winning it 4-1. But now the breaks aren't every single break that went for him in the first round is going against him in this round, with the 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 Panthers here, and I can't figure them out. There is no fucking toughness to this team. There is zero toughness. There's no pushback. There's no like. It's like they
Nothing.
were happy to win one round. The fact, like that overtime yesterday, was disgusting. 3 fucking icings in 5 minutes in overtime. Like, do you have a fucking plan? Do you know what you're doing here? You understand you're still in the game and you have a chance to win this game. You're not killing a goddamn penalty. Like, we're I don't understand the mental toughness of this team. There is no mental toughness with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
What's
Zero
astonishing to me,
whatsoever.
Dave, is that they have now they're going to have some, like, and every team has it. But now this Leafs team, they're going to lose. They might win 1 game, they might win 2. They're not winning this series. They're just not. But they have some decisions to make now with this franchise, what they're going to do moving forward, because they have Matthews and Marner, who are their 2 big ticket items, who are if they don't move them before July 1st, they'll have no trade deals going into the next couple of years of their contracts. Both of these little cocksuckers actually negotiated shorter term contracts, big money but shorter term, knowing that they would be needed. And so they actually they hampered the team a little bit by saying, okay, we want max money for minimal effort. And that's what they got. And now the Leafs are in a situation where they're not going to win another. They're not going to win. And now they have to say, okay, what are we going to do with these guys? And it's unbelievable that a franchise and it's every team actually. It's unbelievable these franchises aren't waking up a little bit and saying, you know what? We're not going to win with you. We won't win without you. Go find somewhere else to fucking play. Here's what we're going to pay you, and that's it. I'm starting to side with the owners more and more throughout professional sports, saying, you know what? Then don't play. I'm sick of paying you cocksuckers. I'm sick of it.
I kind of agree with you right now, right? Because
And you're more like I'm an owner. Like we've kind of argued about this in the past, where like you're a player hugger and I'm kind of an owner hugger. But like now I'm just so sick of these guys making money for nothing, for absolutely nothing.
correct, right? Like, so where are you gonna play? Are you gonna be Johnny Gaudreau and make $10 million a year in Columbus? Okay, fuck, beat it. Go to Columbus, and you have no chance of winning. What do you want to do? Do you want to make money right now, or do you want a chance to win a championship? Because I think players like Draisaitl and McDavid are taking a little bit less money to play in Edmonton. As it speaks, we'll see what happens in 2 years because they're getting their ass handed to them by Vegas tonight. Because the Oilers don't want to spend money on quality D-men and a quality goalie. Right? I get it. Skinner is up for Rookie of the Year, but he's not Vasilevsky. He's not even Bobrovsky right now. But Bobrovsky, he's making $10 million in Florida, so like that's a terrible example. So like it really depends on the money you want to spend. You're not spending that money on their accomplishment in the regular season. You're spending that money on what they can do for you in the postseason. And the postseason money are people like Kachuk in Florida. Those are the people like who's the guy that went turbo all the time? Williams, like for Washington.
Mr. Game 7,
Justin Williams.
Justin Williams. He played for he won a Game 7 in L.A., Carolina, and somewhere else. I can't remember.
And people back in the day, like Esa Tikkanen, like
Peter Kleeman, God rest his soul.
Peter Kleeman, yeah, God rest his soul. Like these are the guys that your value picks that are making, like, instead of $8 million, I'll say this for him. I was very skeptical of the signing when the Oilers did this for him. But Kane with the Oilers, he's fucking money.
Like they lost, like they said, they took a beating tonight, and they're down to everything else. But Kane the other night, when he was fighting in the second period there, and
the body
shots, he was like Evander Holyfield, not Evander Kane, and the whole bit, and he was blowing kisses to that woman in the stands there, and she was throwing the fucking the Trudeau salute at him, and the whole bit. It was quite funny, and he's a gamer, man. The Oilers took a flyer on him last year when he was going through his legal troubles and everything else. And you have guys like that. Those are guys that win you championships. And it's unbelievable that you see these guys making money. And I hate to fucking besmirch guys making money, because you know what? Make it, whatever. If someone's going to give it to you, you take it. No one's ever going to say no. But I do think that a lot more of these teams, and like I follow hockey more than I follow football, but a lot more of these teams have to start saying, you know what, we're not going to win. Like, we're not. Like, I don't know why I'm paying you $10 million or $50 million or $40 million, whatever it might be. I don't understand, and what it must do to a locker room. We've never talked about this actually before, Dave. Like, what it must do to a locker room when you got a guy who's working his tail off, giving his all he can possibly do, and he's making $800,000. Good living, 100%, good living. But you see some cocksucker like this Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner last night putting in zero effort for maximum gain, and did nothing. It must tear a locker room apart a little bit, going like, okay, why am I busting my hump for $800,000 when that cocksucker's making 10? He's eating caviar, and I'm eating Ichiban. Like, not to that extent, but you know what I mean. But
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, it's got to be a kick in the pills. These guys, like, who is this cocksucker?
To win a championship at any pro sport, you're going to need your elite talent. You need elite talent.
100%. But it has to be. But it has to be elite. Not telling people it's elite.
Right. Exactly.
You know who's good? When they tell you you're good. When you got to tell people you're good, you're not that good.
Exactly. and those things, like, like people shit on him all the time, but Tom Brady took pay cuts and he did extra. He knew the playbook. He worked with his receivers. He did everything to make that team on the offensive side of the ball better. Like, when do you get that in any other sport? I can't think of one right now. But what I'm going to say is, when your best player is your leader and your hardest worker,
Doesn't
and
hurt.
then that's and then that's I think that's what that from making yourself in hockey in the NHL, from making yourself an $8 million into a $10 million player, that's where it starts. Because I think that's what Draisaitl and McDavid bring to the Oilers. They work harder than anybody there,
Like
and I'll guarantee you that.
I watched the first period a little bit before we went on the other thing tonight, and I was watching Draisaitl, and he hit the goalpost twice in the first 2 minutes of the hockey game, and that game could have been different, right? Because an inch one way, it's a 2-0 game. He's unbelievable the way he's just like, you know what? Let's just go and score goals. He already
He's
has
dialed
13.
in.
He already has 13 goals in the playoffs. I don't know if he got one tonight, but he's 6 goals away from setting a National Hockey League record, and he could have that by Friday night. Like, it's unbelievable how he's just one of those guys. And when you're elite talent, and the thing about you talk about elite talent around the National Hockey League, when people say that Matthews and Marner are top 5, top 10 guys in the league, they're lying. They're absolutely lying.
Without a doubt, they're not
Because
leaders.
if Matthews and Marner are like 4 and 5 kind of guys, then McDavid and Draisaitl are in another stratosphere completely. Because
And McKinnon, right?
McKinnon and Makar, like you watch
And
these
even
guys.
Tkachuk now.
Like Tkachuk now is one of the top guys in the league. Like, I wouldn't put him like I would, like, right now the way he's playing now, absolutely. And like it's crazy how you just watch how there's such a non-compete in a lot of these guys, and it's not just a Leaf thing. Like how the Leafs were down 2-0, put up a stinker last night, and then you have a Seattle Kraken team who's 2 years in. So basically those players have no loyalty whatsoever to that team. Yeah, they get paid, but there isn't any 7-year players there, right?
No one has
a tattoo
right
or given Christmas
I'm gonna
presents.
retire as a Kraken.
Yeah, nobody. Right? Nobody. And the effort they put up last night, and they won a hockey game. Now they're up 2-1 in a series because they got embarrassed in game 2, and now they're up 3-1. Like, it's unbelievable how that franchise just finds a way to produce guys who just don't give a shit. It's unbelievable. I don't.
It's buy-in, and that's what it is. Like, football and hockey, that's more than basketball and baseball, right? You need complete team buy-in. Right? If everybody gets on the same page and pulling in the same direction, then we have a chance. Right? Like, elite talent, like in hockey, elite talent can only be on there 30% of the ice, right? That's it. It's
like, if you went around that dressing room tonight, or their game day skate tomorrow morning, whatever it might be, we're doing this on a Monday night, and if you went in the around the dressing room and you said, are we going to win this series? There would not be 20 guys who are going to say yes. There wouldn't be. There wouldn't be 20 guys say, yeah, we can do this. They're just not. Nylander's already combing his hair. He's been on Expedia all day long, fucking getting tickets to Ibiza, whatever the fuck. Like, it's unbelievable how these guys get drafted and they make money, and good on them. Like, fucking, they get paid, take it, whatever. But I feel for the fans who get screwed year in, year out. And like I said earlier, I'd rather see the Leafs lose on Wednesday night than anybody having to spend one more penny watching those bunch of fucking losers play hockey again this season. Because that's what they are. They're losers.
Toronto has a great collection of talent, but they don't have a great collection of winners. And like, O'Reilly just must be sitting there and thinking, like, why aren't I wearing the fucking C? Because Tavares hasn't won a fucking thing in his professional career, and he's walking around with the C, making
with
his
$11 million in his pocket per year.
You bet. And he doesn't know what it takes to win a fucking series in the NHL's playoffs.
Yeah, he just, like, why ownership and why I'm gonna ask you why do owners and GMs succumb to these pricks and say, well, we gotta pay him?
I think there might be another thing coming, right? Because the Calgary Flames are the thing right now. I'm gonna give the Oilers a pass. My ex-wife, my ex-team, because I think McDavid and Draisaitl are doing everything in their fucking power to win. I really
They're
do.
worth every penny they got.
I honestly believe that. But when you think of what the Flames have been doing over the years, like they draft all these players that are good and then don't want to stay there. And is that because of the coach? Is that because of the building? Is that because of Calgary? I don't have a fucking clue. But you get a team like St. Louis Blues, who had no real superstars on them.
Their
who won
biggest
the
star
Cup
was
2 years ago.
Gloria by fucking Sheena Easton.
They had a team and they figured it out and they got camaraderie. And you know what? That's what won them the goddamn cup. It wasn't superstars. It wasn't Tavares. It wasn't Matthews and Nylander and whoever the fuck else. It was an Ovechkin, right? Like, you know, and even when the Caps won the title, I don't think that was Ovechkin, even though he got the Conn Smythe. It was a team thing, and they wanted to do it for Ovechkin. Like, I think that team really liked Ovechkin. You looked at the Los Angeles Kings with Sutter there. That was a team effort. When you get team buy-in, that's how you win Stanley Cups. That's how you win Stanley Cups.
Well, Dave, this goes back 100 years now when you had the Edmonton Oilers winning their first Stanley Cup, and it's I don't know if it's an actual story or an old wives' tale or a fable, whatever. But Wayne Gretzky says that when they lost in 4 straight to the Islanders in 1983, that he walked by the Islanders dressing room and they thought they'd be celebrating winning a Stanley Cup, and no, there was a bunch of old guys with ice on their knees and getting A5, 3-5, and whatever else, and they were just like, oh man, I'm tired. And the Oilers, when they looked in that dressing room walking at the Nassau Coliseum, they said, that's what it takes to win a cup. And the Leafs just don't have those guys. And to a man, they don't have those guys. And how the franchise has not been able to put it together. And I'm not talking about 67 years or since 67. I'm talking about this core that they put together and spent a lot of money on. They got 5 guys to make $50 million, and so you got 30 million for the rest of the team. Like, I'm not talking about the 19 years since they went around. There's just something wrong with this core they have now. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense how ownerships and GMs can say, yeah, that's our guys. That's where hitched our wagon to, and they just didn't deliver again. And to a man, they didn't deliver again.
Well, yeah, I want.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with sports talking a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.